on Mexico's forgotten roads, when the moon is the only witness. A dark figure rides through the shadows, dressed in black, elegant, and feared. Today on Entre Leyendas, the mystery of the Charro Negro. The legend of the Charro Negro comes from Mexican folklore, with deep roots in the colonial period. It is said that this specter appears on lonely trails, crossing the paths of those who travel alone after dark. Some believe he was once a real man, wealthy, arrogant, and ambitious, who made a pact with the devil to keep his riches, and is now doomed to wander for eternity, paying the price of his greed. Others claim that the Charro Negro is the devil himself in disguise, tempting the unsuspecting with impossible riches. Imagine an elegant figure riding a horse as black as the night. His charro suit is pristine, adorned with gold details. He wears a wide sombrero that hides his face, and when he speaks, his voice is deep and hypnotic. They say he offers help, gold, or company. But if you accept, you're giving something in return. Maybe your soul. Maybe something worse. Many claim to have felt an intense cold upon seeing him, a chill that freezes the bones, and a fear that cannot be explained. A popular story tells of a young farmer returning home after selling his harvest in town. It was nighttime, and as he walked down an old path, he heard the sound of horse hooves approaching. It was the Charro Negro. Dressed in luxury, the Charro greeted him politely and offered to walk with him. The young man, intrigued but cautious, agreed. They walked a few steps until the Charro offered him a bag of gold coins.
Take them. They're yours. No one has to know,
he said with a chilling smile. Tempted by need, the young man took the bag, but instantly, everything around him went dark. The horse neighed like a demon. The Charro let out a terrible laugh and vanished into nothingness. The next morning, the farmer was found unconscious, clutching a bag full of coal. Another testimony says many claim to have seen or made pacts with the Charro Negro, but this story is different. I was 9 years old, visiting my mom's family ranch near the community of La Jolla for Day of the Dead, as we usually did. That morning, my mom and uncles were buying offerings to take to the cemetery. Meanwhile, my cousins and I played around the beautiful ranch. Around 3 p.m., my family left for the cemetery, but my cousins and I decided not to go that year and stayed to play. Everything was fine until we started hearing mysterious footsteps inside the house. We thought maybe one of our uncles had stayed behind, so we went to check. We looked everywhere, even called out to see if someone was there. But no one answered. The house was completely empty. Suddenly we jumped in fear when we heard a loud crash coming from the kitchen. Driven by childish curiosity, we ran to check. But there was nothing, just 3 pots on the floor. We laughed nervously about the scare, when suddenly, a piece of the kitchen stove corner broke off, as if torn away. And from inside came a burst of flame. Terrified, we ran to the porch and locked ourselves in, until the adults returned. When they came back, we told them everything. They just laughed and tried to calm us down. The next morning, we went back to the city. I forgot all about it until we returned a month later for the December festivities. That year was different. It was the 3rd death anniversary of my great-uncle. Everyone was having a good time until night fell. After the prayers, the lights went out, and only the candles remained lit. My cousins and I were scared, so we were told to go to sleep. Everyone else slept, but I couldn't. It was 2 a.m., and I was still wide awake. I closed my eyes. Everything was silent. No sounds at all, until I heard loud footsteps inside the house, like someone wearing boots. The footsteps came from the living room. At the time, a curtain divided the bedroom from the living room, with a 30-centimeter gap between the floor and the curtain. I sat on the bed, staring at that space. Suddenly, black boots appeared, stopping right in front of the curtain, as if someone knew I was awake. He stood there for minutes. I got scared and lay back down, staring at the curtain. Terrified, I whispered, "Who's there?" That chilling figure slowly bent down and placed a large charro hat on the floor. I began to shake. I couldn't move or scream. I had never felt so much fear. As the figure bent lower, glowing red eyes appeared. And then he removed a cloth from his face. But there was no face, just a charred skull emitting smoke. He stood up, pushed the curtain aside, and entered the room. I hid under the covers and started praying. Then I heard a deep, terrifying voice say,
Never question the existence of spirits, especially on the day we can enter your world.
Paralyzed, I asked in a trembling voice, "Who are you?" He replied,
I'm the Charro that people beg for favors, but who they run from when it's time to pay. If you don't want your family to suffer, don't call on me, and never ask me for anything, because I'll take your soul.
Then silence. I didn't dare check if he was gone. I closed my eyes and passed out. When I woke up, it was already daylight. My family was awake. I told them everything. Since that night, I've never seen that Charro again. Some relatives say it was the Charro Negro. Others say it was the devil himself. I never wanted to find out. That night left me marked. Since then, I get intense déjà vu, and I often hear voices calling my name from the street. I wonder if they're the spirits the Charro warned me not to ignore. The Charro Negro is a warning, a figure that represents greed, ego, and the price of betraying your values for material gain. His presence reminds us that not everything that glitters is gold, and that dark bargains always demand payment. He only appears to those with tempted hearts, and once you see him, there's no turning back. So, if you ever encounter an elegant gentleman in the middle of the night, don't accept anything. Don't look into his eyes, and walk away without looking back, because some encounters are not from this world, and this is one of them. There are testimonies from all over Mexico of people who claim to have seen him. Most describe the same experiences, sometimes varying in size, from human-like to towering or monstrous, and sometimes accompanied by other dark entities. Others report eerie silences, or a thick, heavy atmosphere, before he appears. We'll explore these eerie events in upcoming videos. Have you ever experienced anything like this? Have you heard of him? Do people in your town speak of him? Tell us your story, or let us know what legend you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for joining us at Entre Leyendas. Subscribe to discover more tales whispered from the shadows.